Arnaud Zunz is with Priswing. We had Arnaud speak at our technology conference this past fall, and it was a big hit. So dynamic pricing has been used for years in the hotel and airline industries, but it remains widely underutilized and often misunderstood in the golf business. In this session, he will walk through with you, step by step, the way to utilize dynamic pricing and digital marketing to fill your tee sheet. The program will explore the fundamentals of building a dynamic pricing strategy and showcase how to effectively manage it on a daily basis. This is the education part of that three-legged stool that we want to provide the marketplace. So Arnaud, welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Jay. Oops. Hello, everybody. So let's talk about dynamic pricing, which is quite new in the golf industry, but it's really interesting to talk about that right now. First of all, what is dynamic pricing? It's many words. You have heard about dynamic pricing since a long time, about yield management, revenue management, search pricing, etc., etc. But behind those complex words, what is it exactly? It's quite simple, in fact. It's selling the right product to the right customer at the right time, to the right price, via the right channel. Quite simple definition, but complex to apply. One thing that must be known about dynamic pricing is that it's not new at all. It has been created in the 70s by the airlines industry, by American Airlines, and then in the 80s and 90s in the hotel industry. But what has changed right now, it has since few years, you have the increase of big data, machine learning, so new technology, cloud. And so now, dynamic pricing is everywhere, in all industry, in taxi, in restaurant, in the entertainment, like here in Orlando with Disney World. So it's everywhere. So the question today is, why not in golf? The good news is that in our industry, we have done variable pricing since decades. Everybody knows about weekend, sunset, high-low season, different pricing according resident, senior, etc. So it is the first step of dynamic pricing. So golf managers are doing dynamic pricing since a long time. But the difference right now is that you can change the price more often. Why? Because in the golf industry, it's really a great playground for dynamic pricing because you have so many parameters that impact demands. You have the weather, but behind the weather, you have the temperature, the sunshine, etc., etc. You have the ground condition, you have the competition, you have the events, you have the sunset, etc., etc. Many external conditions. So quite simple to understand. But what you think about that, it's quite complex because you have clients, you have customers. And those customers are different. You have residents, some golf courses have daily players, the other one have tourist players. And even inside those categories, your clients are different. People, there are some who are time sensitive, they want to play each Saturday at 10, and others are price sensitive. They don't fear about moving time of playing if the price is different. So what you have to do in the golf industry, in fact, is to have a personalized pricing. It's to adapt your price to your clients, not only to the external conditions. And there is a new way also, and Jay talked about that. You can book about through different channels today. Before it was just at the desk by phone. Now it's through your website, it's through the website of the golf course, and it's also through third-party assets. So through those different channels, you need also to have a channel pricing strategy. So in fact, it's quite complex in our industry, in the golf industry, to apply dynamic pricing yield management. But for that, you have many data. And data is the big difference today. Your data is a gold mine. First of all, each golf manager should know, my advice, his occupancy rate. It's quite simple, but it's the basis of dynamic pricing. It's really the basis. And like every hotel manager, you need to know your occupancy rate by day, by hour, etc., etc. Because your objective is to have 100 occupancy rate. So for that, you need to know your figures. The second thing is the weather. We know everybody that weather has a big impact on the golf industry, on the client demand. But the weather, you can't say just, hey, the weather is nice, so my revenue are increasing, or the weather is bad, so my revenue is decreasing. It's just too simple. So that is why you need to analyze in details the impact of weather on your sale, or even on your revenue. That's what you do. We do that at Priswing, this kind of graphs behind the scene that are really interesting to know exactly what is the impact on weather. And behind weather, there is temperature, there is sunshine, there is wind, there is many, many parameters. The third data that is key is the booking window. We know that today, with the development of the web, of internet, it's moving. People are booking at a different time than before. They're booking later. So the delay between time of booking, time of reservation, of time of play is really critical to make yield management, to make dynamic pricing. So you have to know the golfer habits to make a yield management policy. So in fact, to have my advice, if you want to go in dynamic pricing and yield management, is base your decision on data. Not only on feeling. Feeling pricing is really dangerous. Feeling pricing is to say just, hey, my occupancy rate in 5 days is 10%. Okay, my God, so the weather is quite okay, so I'm going to decrease price. Very dangerous, because in fact, you don't really know what will be your future occupancy rate. So put your decision on data-driven. Now to go in details of dynamic pricing, of yield management, the first step is to forecast the demand. You need to be proactive, not reactive to the weather condition and to the golf demand. You have a puzzle, an everyday puzzle to solve. My occupancy rate is 10%. What will be my occupancy rate? What price I have to set up in 5 days for next Saturday? How to set up this price? If you take into account just the current occupancy rate, so the 10%, you're wrong, because you are reactive, you are not proactive. If you try to forecast what will be my occupancy rate with this kind of price, you are reactive. It's a good approach. So my current occupancy rate is 10%. Will it be 15% in 5 days or 80%? How can I know? And that's what we do. You need to gather data. This kind of Saturday, in the last period, in this month, with this kind of weather forecast, with the current occupancy rate, I can say that my prediction for next Saturday will be not 15%, not 80%, but 75%, based on historical data. Like in the airlines or the hotel industry, you have to take into account historical data. Your historical data is really will help you to predict how will be the demand. The second thing that is really, really necessary in the yield management policy is to set up the price thanks to the concept of elasticity. Elasticity, in fact, is quite simple. It is just the golfer reaction to price. If I increase my price by $2 or I decrease my price by $2, what will be the reaction of my golfer on the number of rounds that will be sold? Will it increase? Will it dip? So this is also, you can calculate, and that we do that at Priswing, we calculate, historically speaking, what is the elasticity of your clients. And that is really important, not to fill your ground, but to set up the best price to optimize your revenue. because dynamic pricing is not discount. The objective of dynamic pricing is not to fill your occupancy rate, is to increase your revenue. So sometimes the price will increase, sometimes it will decrease. The objective is what is the best price for the right client to fill your ground. And once you have set up your price thanks to the elasticity, you need to set up your price even more in detail, so hour by hour, slot by slot, because in the morning the price will be different than at midday or in the afternoon. So what you have to do is to do the same process. Once, forecast demand. Second, set price thanks to elasticity. And what is also important to know in dynamic pricing is that you need to adjust your price every day. So maybe not like in the airlines, every minute, you know, we don't understand anything. The price is moving all the time. We are in the golf industry. So I don't think that golfers would like to have the price moving all the time. But maybe twice, 4 times a day, the price can change. So you need to adapt your price all the time. How to do that? Algorithm. Algorithm, it's a big word, you know, like machine learning, like big data, etc. In fact, it's simple. It just gather your data, historical data or predictive data like weather, mix it and say, this is the best price that will optimize your revenue. And that's all. But you have many data to take into account. And you need to be reactive. And you need to be continuously reactive. So that is why you need machine, you need algorithm, you need tools. But one key point is that you need also people. In any industry, you have only tools, only machine. You have people to monitor that. You need to have your intelligence. Golf manager know better than a machine about special event, etc., etc. So it's really a matter to have the technology and the people. Now, operationally, how you can do that? You need to adapt your organization. The organization is key. You can't have just a tool. The first step should be to hire a revenue manager, like in every hotel industry. Each hotel has a revenue manager, even independent hotel. Now it has a cost, and we know, but this cost you have also a return on interest. So you can either hire a revenue manager, and the second solution, my advice should be to nominate a referee in the team of each golf course. Because in every golf course, you are young people that like revenue management, that are interested about that topics, and they can leverage skills. So nominate someone at your desk to take into account this pricing policy. But don't give the pricing strategy to other parties, especially to the bookers. You need really to highlight your skills in terms of dynamic pricing. And the last solution is to have also external consultant, but mostly may be coming from other industry that knows about dynamic pricing. And the last thing, but really, really key, is think client. Don't set up a pricing policy without thinking, what will be my golfer reaction? The good news, and it's really a good news, is that golfers are really internet shoppers. They are people like everybody. I hear a lot, very often, that, yeah, golf is different. Each industry says I'm different. But in fact, golf is not different, and golfers are not different. Golfers, they travel, they take train, they take taxi, they take Uber, they bought on Amazon. So they know about dynamic pricing. And it's totally normal for the golf course to have dynamic pricing, to have the price that are changing all the time. It's normal. When it's raining, it's normal to pay less. When my ground conditions are incredible, it's normal to pay more. The golfer can understand that. So just communicate. Communication is key. You need to communicate to the golfer if you set up a pricing, a yield management strategy. So communicate on your website and communicate also at the desk. Train your desk with few Q&A. So you need to anticipate the golfer reaction. Of course, there will be few people that would say, dynamic pricing, you want my money. But in fact, no. In fact, it's in the interest of the golfers, really. And 95% of golfers will be happy with pricing that are changing, because golfers are different. Remember, some are price sensitive, others are time sensitive. Look, everybody can find what he wants. So in conclusion, it's a short presentation, but at Priswing, what we do is we have created a tool, an algorithm that analyzes all the historical data that take into account the weather, and in the hand with the golf manager, we provide dynamic pricing to set up the best price to maximize the revenue. It works in other industry, usually 10 to 15% increase of revenue. It's proven. Dynamic pricing is not new. So we have track record in many industries, and it will be the case, it's already the case in the golf industry. Second, it's not just a matter of technology. And even if I provide a tech tool, I know that people are key. People from the staff, golf managers, and clients. Everybody is key. And last things, if you fear about dynamic pricing, just test and learn. Just test and learn. You can test. If it doesn't work, but it will work, but you can test. So you need to go in dynamic pricing in the future. It's the future, it's not the future of the golf industry, it's the present. So let's go in yield management, which is not at all discount. It's really to increase your revenue. Thank you.
Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed this conversation. You can look forward to more things like this in the future as we continue to work together, working with golf course operators, golf course owners, vendors, management companies, all sitting at the table with one common goal at the end of the day, and that's to grow the game and lift the industry so that all parties can keep golf in the healthy place that it deserves to be in. Thank you.